Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 167. I am Andrew Eisen. Welcome to the podcast. Tonight, I want to be positive and talk about all the things that I like, and we can all be enthusiastic about cool things together. But I'm looking over my show notes, and yeah, it's all kind of negative. I don't like not liking things. All right. So, let me start with the first thing I don't like: Xbox. So, day before yesterday, Microsoft had their Inside Xbox event, which is it's essentially an E3 press conference, right? They're on a stage. There's a bunch of overly enthusiastic, performatively enthusiastic gamers in the audience who scream and whoop and woo at everything, even the announcement of a game studio's name. Our new studio. Its name is Galaxy's Edge or something like that. The audience is, "Wah!" It's like bull. I call shenanigans. You guys aren't that excited. Fakery. Those are fake gamers right there. um, Now, I said this on Twitter. I'm just in kind of a foul mood. So, keep that in mind when I say that it was the most obnoxious, insufferable conference games presser I have. Those it's fine to be a fan, but those are fanboys. Yeah, okay. All right, I see that. Hey, Warren. Oh God, that presser sucked. It was so boring. Um, I'm thinking about some of the most embarrassing Konami pressers of years gone by, and I'm like, I'd rather sit through that again. It's like an hour and 45 minutes. It's really what I interpret anyway as faux enthusiasm that really I found off-putting. And I think I find it off-putting because I personally am physically incapable of being that excited about anything. So, so it came off as very fake. Also, most of the games that they showed, they didn't show a whole hell of a lot of game. Hey, Rare, you remember Rare? Conker's Bad Fur Day and GoldenEye, Blast Corps, Perfect Dark, um, Banjo Kazooie. They're making a new game, their first new IP since Viva Pinata, which is like 15 years ago. And they showed a trailer. And I have no idea what the game actually is. I mean, I've got a sense of the, art style and aesthetic they're going for, but it could be an MMO. It could be a card battle game. It could be something, could be a battle royale game like Fortnite. It could be an adventure platformer. I have absolutely no idea what kind of game this is because, once again, they're just showing trailers that don't tell you really anything about the game. And that was kind of a consistent theme with most of what they showed. I think the most of what we saw were games that we've already seen and are like either out or just came out. Like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Well, that came out this week. So you showing me gameplay of a game that I could actually already be playing, not really that impressive. What was it? One thing I did find funny is they had someone come on stage and be like, "Oh, we're finally bringing the fabled IP of kart racers," and I'm like, "Has anybody heard of kart racers? Anybody? No, no one's heard of this. At least no one in my place, population me." So, oh god, it was bad, 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 super bad. I didn't like it. Chaos says it looks great, but I still don't know what it is. Yeah, yeah, that's a problem to me. Hopefully, single player. The very last segment of the Rare trailer, the game for the trailer for the Rare game, has a bunch of people coming up. So I'm guessing it's at the very least has the option of multiplayer. So who knows? Um, Jordan says, I'm tired. I was going to bed, but I got a notification for the podcast. I'm not going to not watch Andrew, so guess I gotta stay up. Sorry, Jordan. I'll try to keep it short. Um, Warren says, Nightmare on Elm Street. Rare developed, LJN produced. I didn't know Rare was still around today. Yeah, Microsoft owns them. I remember the Nightmare on Elm Street game. I liked the Nightmare on Elm Street game. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people say it is. I think it's perfectly serviceable and better than serviceable if you're a big fan of the Nightmare on Elm Street IP, which I am. I'm a fan of the Friday the 13th IP, but the Friday the 13th game on the NES is hot garbage. So anyway, let us move on beyond the Microsoft Xbox Inside Xbox conference because it sucked and there's nothing really I want to talk about. Hey, let's talk about Google Stadia. Did you know that Google Stadia is coming out this week? Like in 3 days? You probably did. Most people, I'm getting the sense, don't. I don't like being a negative Nelly, but I don't think the Google Stadia is going to do very well. I think it's going to pass like a fart in the wind. Some people may be walking along and that will be the legacy of Google Stadia. For those of you who don't know, Google Stadia is Google's entry into the console market with not a console. So essentially, it is a video games streaming service that you subscribe to and pay for the games that you don't actually own, so you just have to hope that Google doesn't kill off Stadia and you lose all of the games that you paid for. Fingers crossed. Warren forgot. Matthews says, no, it won't. Microsoft embarrassed them with 50 plus games for xCloud Game Pass. It's a good point. This also comes from the Xbox Inside Xbox thing. Xbox is doing their own thing. It's not out yet, but they're beta-ing it. It's the Xbox xCloud thing, and it's essentially Google Stadia, except you own the games. You own the games that you bought, and you can play them on any device. Is the idea, and initially there are a lot more games. We'll get into that in a second. But what I'd like to talk about is who exactly is the audience for the Stadia? Because the Stadia just strikes me as really odd, right? So it seems to be targeting a group of people, gamers, who are interested in games but not quite interested enough to actually own any of the consoles, but interested enough to have pretty good, darn reliable, fast internet. That seems like kind of a narrow slice, you know? Tech-savvy, great internet-having gamers who aren't quite that into games. I'm just not quite sure about the segment. Also, I read on Ars Technica, when did they publish this? Let's see, earlier this week, 2 days ago, that there was a AMA on Reddit about the Stadia, and as is sadly common today, Stadia is going to launch without a lot of the expected features. Um, for example, uh, the Chromecast stuff, so you can play it on your TV, won't support 4K HDR or 5.1 surround sound at launch. All right, that sucks. Um, you know that one of the big selling points, the thing that allowed your viewpoint to your game to be integrated with another player's stream, that's not going to be in there until later. Um, the Google Launch Assistant thingy is just going to turn on the TV and start the game. That's it. You know that family sharing thing where you could buy a game and share it with everyone in your family? So everyone in your family that has an account can share the games? Yeah, that's not going to happen at launch. What's interesting about this is they say you might have to buy games for your kid's account. So probably going to want to hold off on that for a while. Um, no achievements. There are achievements. There's just no UI to present them. So if you get an achievement, there's a number ticking in a database somewhere, but you can't see it yet. The Chromecast units that are included in the super expensive bundles, uh, those are the only ones that will actually work with Stadia. Anything you buy off of a store shelf will have to have a update later. That whole buddy pass thing where they said if you buy Stadia, you can give your buddy a free trial. You can still do that, but they're not going to give it to your buddy for a couple of weeks. This next point I'm not completely clear on, but it says currently the phone is needed for initial setup and buying of games. Buying games through a Chromecast Ultra or the web is not supported, and the AMA gave no indication of when it would be added. In addition to that, it says in a separate bullet point, mobile support will be limited to Google Pixel phones and Chrome OS tablets. So no iOS or Android. So I might be misunderstanding something here, but it sounds like you're not going to be able to buy anything unless you happen to have a Google Pixel phone. That seems kind of limiting. And there's a couple others here, but I don't care. What are we talking about in the chat here? Xbox is getting Yakuza. Yes, I saw. The Ryogo got Gotoku Studios has an announcement. I'm like, oh, Ishin and Kenzan. They're like, more Yakuza. Yes, Ishin and Kenzan. It's coming to the Xbox. Good, but I still want Yakuza, Ishin, and Kenzan. I want my stuff. I want things for me. I'm selfish and self-centered. So, launch is important for a console, or not a console, as the Stadia is. So let's take a look at the oh gosh, golly gosh, here we go. The launch lineup for the Stadia. I did a little bit too much research for this afternoon, which maybe is why I'm in a foul mood. But so there will be 12 games when it launches on Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. 12 games. 26 by the year's end. That's not bad, right? 12 games at launch, another 14 by the end of the year. That's not bad, right? That's pretty good. 12 of those games are on every other platform, PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the Switch. Another 12 of them are everything but the Switch. There is one game that's on the PC and the Switch, but not the Xbox One or the PS4, and one exclusive. One. It's called Guilt. It's from Tequila Works, who did Rime, a game that didn't exactly set the world on fire, but it was pretty. Um, it's a horror adventure. It looks kind of like Alan Wake. You wander around spooky environments with a flashlight, and gloopy shadow monsters chase you. It's got kind of a cartoony aesthetic. It looks neat, but it doesn't look like a system seller or a not a system seller. One exclusive. So not only is pretty much every other game on the service on everything else, it's also most all of the other games are fairly old. In fact, only 3 of the games coming out this year uh, will launch on the Stadia. Will be new games. The rest of them are games that came out earlier this year or in previous years. So let's go over them, shall we? Yes. Yes, we shall. So coming out at launch, we have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which came out a year ago on everything. Destiny 2, which came out 2 years ago on everything but the Switch. Guilt, which is that exclusive thing. Just Dance 2020, which came out a couple weeks ago on everything, including the Wii. The original Wii. Not the Wii U, but the Wii. Ubisoft has said it's the last one they're putting on the Wii, but yeah, Just Dance 2020. So, a newish game at least. Kine, which doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, but it's a 3D puzzle game. It looks fine. Came out in October. It's on everything. Mortal Kombat 11 came out earlier this year in the spring. Red Dead Redemption 2 came out a year ago. It actually just came out on PC a couple weeks ago. Rise of the Tomb Raider, which came out 4 years ago on everything but the Switch. Samurai Showdown, not that one, the new one, which came out which came out in the spring. It's supposed to come out on the PC and Switch, but that's TBD as far as I've seen. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is the most recent one that came out a year ago on everything but the Switch. Thumper, which came out 3 years ago on everything, including the Switch, although the Switch and Xbox One came out in 2017. And Tomb Raider, not that one, the remake Tomb Raider, which came out in 2013, so 6 years ago. So that's what's coming out at launch. I mean, some of those games aren't too bad, but I mean they've been out on everything for a while. But what else is there? That's just day one. What will we have to play by the end of the year? Okay, Attack on Titan 2 Final Battle. That came out this summer on everything. It's an expansion of Attack on Titan 2, which came out in March of 2018. Borderlands 3, which came out in September. Darksiders Genesis, which is that Darksiders like Diablo-looking thing, which was kind of disappointing. Anyway, that comes out in December, so that will launch on the Stadia and PC and Xbox and PlayStation and Switch. Although the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch they won't be out until February of 2020. So, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, which came out 3 years ago on everything. Well, the Switch came out in 2017. Farming Simulator 19, which came out a year ago. What about Farming Simulator 20, you might ask? Well, that comes out on the Switch and Android in December. But so far as I can see, not the Stadia. I guess it's kind of a mobile-only title. Final Fantasy 15, which came out 3 years ago. Football Manager 2020, which releases day and date with the Stadia. So hey, there's one also coming out on the Switch. Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which came out in October. Grid, which came out in October also. Metro Exodus, which came out last February. NBA 2K20, which came out last October. Rage 2, which came out in the spring sometime. Trials Rising, which came out in February, and Wolfenstein Youngblood, which came out over the summer. So, 26 games, 24 of them are multi-platform titles. One of them's exclusive. Uh, Actually, 25 of them are multi-platform titles. One of them is exclusive. Three of them are new. Nine of the games came out are new-ish. They came out this fall. 16 of them came out just generally this year. 4 in 2018, 1 in 2017, 3 in 2016, 1 in 2015, and 1 in 2013. Missing from the lineup is... I looked in... Here are games that are coming out this fall timeframe that have not been announced for the Stadia. The Outer Worlds, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Monster Hunter World. I know Iceborne doesn't come out on PC until January, but maybe the base game? I don't know, or maybe at least announce that it's coming. Shantae and the Seven Sirens. Last I heard that was supposed to be this fall, but I guess that's TBD. I don't know. The Ni no Kuni remaster, Untitled Goose Game, The Surge 2, Code Vein, FIFA 20, Trine 4, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, Need for Speed Heat, Shenmue 3, the console version of Civilization 6, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts, and others that I didn't bother writing down. So, guys, gals, everyone, I don't think the Stadia is going to do very well. I mean, I'm not rooting for it to fail or anything like that, but, you know, I laid out the tarot cards, and it's not looking good. So, Jordan will just stick with his Tiger Electronics. There you go. Hey, Tiger. Chaos. Just Dance 20 was on the Wii, outsold the PS4 and Xbox versions in the first week. I wonder how many people have a Wii and are sitting there going, are they ever going to come out with a Wii 2? They should make another one of these. It's pretty good. I like, as Tiger says, I like the idea. But I don't have the connection for it, paying 120 US a month for the damn data cap. Yeah, what did the Google VP dude, it was saying something like, I think ISPs, even though they kind of have de facto monopolies and stuff like that, they will look at the demand, nay, the need for better internet service, and through the kindness of their hearts, they will just say, oh, this Google Stadia service is going to need some more robust internets. Have more robust internets, everybody. One and all, more robust internets for everybody. That would be nice. I don't see that happening. Chaos bought Dance Dance 2020 just because it'll likely be the final Wii game ever. It's possible. Matthew says the only shot Stadia has is when it releases its free version when Cyberpunk comes out, but even then I doubt it. Yeah. I mean, if you can get... If, as far as I know, I think Destiny 2 is the only free game in the sense that you subscribe to the service, you get free games. Like you subscribe to Netflix, you get free movies. You subscribe to Google Stadia, and you can play Destiny 2 for free, which has been out for years. So, yeah, if Cyberpunk 2077, if that is part of it, that could be a hell of an incentive, but I've not heard that that's going to happen, so... So Stadia, hey, man, good luck. I mean, I'm not gonna buy you or subscribe to you because I'm not subscribing to a service that, for a monthly fee, permits me to buy games. I mean, that's kind of what you do with a console. You pay for a console, but at least I pay for a console and I'm done paying for it. I don't have to keep paying for the console forever, and I don't have to worry about Nintendo or Sony or whoever just stopping. If Nintendo and Sony just stop supporting the Switch or the PS4, my games will still run on the PS4 and the Switch. Hell, games still run on my NES. Games still run on my Atari 7800. That's not supported anymore. But I own the games, so I can still play them if I so choose. I really don't like the idea of Stadia where I don't own the games, and a company like Google, who has a deserved reputation for killing services, as someone mentioned in the chat, Jordan mentioned in the chat, Google Plus, among dozens of others. I would hate to invest a lot of money in games and Google saying, wow, man, this Stadia thing didn't pan out. Where's the plug? There's the plug. All them games you paid for. At least so far as we know right now. So, alright, let's move on to a happier topic. So, Sonic was redesigned for the Sonic movie. They released the trailer for Sonic the movie last spring, I believe. And everyone looked at it and went, you remember when everyone looked at Godzilla in Godzilla, the 98 version, the one with Matthew Broderick, and they went, boy howdy, that's not Godzilla. It's a giant lizard stomping around, and that could be fun, but that particular monster there, that's not Godzilla. I know Godzilla, and that's not Godzilla. I remember I was in a Toys R Us back in 1998, shortly before the film came out, and I saw a Godzilla toy, a movie Godzilla toy, and there was a little kid, 6 years old or something like that, kind of looking at the toy. Ooh, giant lizard, neat. I said, you know who that is? And the little kid looked up at me and was like, no. And I said, don't talk to strangers! No, I said, that's Godzilla. And this little child, this innocent little 6-year-old boy, looked at the Godzilla toy, looked at me, looked at the Godzilla toy, and looked back at me with an expression that said, I am the dumbest asshole on the face of the earth. And he said, no, it's not. You see, because even a 6-year-old child could look at that design and say, that's just not Godzilla. The reaction to Sonic was stronger than that. Not only did people say, well, actually it was kind of different. People said, okay, that's Sonic, but that's ugly as hell. What were you thinking? How did that pass any level of approval? How did anyone look at that and go, yeah, that's what we want in our movie? Fans, as they are wont to do, some politely, some less than, made it known that the general displeasure with the aesthetic design of Sonic. So they went back to the drawing board and said, okay, we will redesign him, we will remodel him, re-rig him, reanimate him, redo all the Sonic scenes in the movie. We are going to make sure that we're going to delay the movie so that we don't kill all of our animation production staff. We're going to pay them overtime. And they did. And we saw the new design, and it looks fine. I think it looks fine. Looks like Sonic. It's pretty good. He's less hairy. His teeth are less frightening. His eyes are less beady. He's got gloves instead of weird furry hands. I like the fact that while his eyes aren't connected, they extended the color of his muzzle up the bridge of his nose a little bit to kind of intimate the connection without actually doing it. This is a nice touch. This new Sonic is much more expressive and interesting to look at, and less nightmare fuel. Unfortunately, the movie still looks utterly horrible. I mean, the first trailer didn't look good. design aside, the movie didn't look good. Didn't look funny. It looked like something you would just sit through without your facial expression changing. You'd just sit there for 2 hours. And then it would end, and you'd be like, okay, gonna go home and stare at a wall now. This looks actively bad. I mean, this looks shifting in your seat, I want to leave the theater bad. Hope I'm wrong, but don't look good. Tiger says, I kind of like the 98 Godzilla. I don't hate it. It's not Godzilla, but if you can get past the fact that it's not Godzilla, it is a giant lizard stomping around Manhattan, and that's inherently kind of cool, so. What else we got here? Then again, I was 8 years old at the time. Film purist in me demands an original cut with the Blu-ray. I agree, Jordan. I think that or however much they finished. I mean, it's very possible that what we saw in the trailer back in April or May or whenever the heck it came out is everything they actually had finished up to that point. So it's very possible there is not a complete, because when we saw the first trailer, remember, there was still like 6 months or so until the film was supposed to be out. So the picture definitely wasn't done yet. So there probably isn't a complete, from what I understand, the film stopped, wrapped production in, wrapped filming rather, in I think October of last year. So that would have given the production and animators like 6 months to work on effects, Sonic and stuff. So they probably were only like, 50-60% of the way done with the movie. So there probably is not a complete version of the movie with the original Sonic. That said, I completely agree with Jordan. I really would like to see that original version, or at least a work print, right, of what the original vision of Sonic was. I think that kind of stuff is important. And if nothing else, they could repurpose the character model and rig of original Sonic for the forthcoming Five Nights at Freddy's movie. You know it to be true. That thing is damn horrifying. You could have it as a Freddy Fazbear animatronic creeping around and no need to let all that work go to waste, man. Let's see. Siberian Tiger, word around the campfire, said the first design was a product of design by committee. Yeah, probably. It does have that studio noted to death kind of thing. It's like, oh, the eyes are too big, make the eyes smaller. No, the ears are we want it more realistic. Give him a body of a runner. It's got to make sense why he could go that fast. So he's got to be kind of long and lean and lithe. And it doesn't, what's the motivation to just be wearing weird cartoon gloves? I mean, yeah, let's keep the color scheme with just white fur on his hands. It's like, but it's Sonic, man. We know it's Sonic. Just make Sonic, I always look at movies for the kids like this. Little kids are stupid because they're little kids. Takes a while to get smart. Some of us never make it. But kids are dumb, and they have no taste. So while you totally can make garbage, and they will like it because they're dumb and they have no taste, they will still like it if it's good. So you may as well just make it good, because the kids are going to like it either way. So make it good, and other people will like it too. Like, dorky old people like me who likes children's cartoons. Just my 2 cents there. Siberian Tiger says Jim Carrey's in it, so I get my money's worth. I'm interested to see what he does with the role. It looks really annoying, but who knows? I do enjoy Jim Carrey. I haven't seen him in anything in a while, though. Warren says, I'm willing to watch it. Yeah, I'm willing to watch either version. I mean, I'm not willing to pay to go to the theater to see it, but, if it's on TV at some point, which I don't have TV, but, I've had the chance to see it. Jordan says, imagine the toys we'll never get or of the first design. I want a Sonic Boom movie. It's the one with the bandages, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I do. The argument of should fans or the audience have control over should dictate the direction of projects. You know, in some regards, you think no, they shouldn't. It should be the brainchild of the creative team. They make what they want and they put it out there, and consumers, thumbs up or thumbs down or just kind of do this. And on the other hand, it's kind of fun to have that collaborative process. It's like, hey, I'm doing a thing. That's cool, but what if you did this? Oh, that would be cool. Let's do this. That's cool. But then you get into stuff like, I hate it and I will dox you and threaten to kill your dog and I will harass you on social media until you make it to my exact specifications. That, of course, is not cool. So, happy middle ground? Wants a plushie of the original Sonic design. There you go. I'm glad. Oh, yeah, man. Imagine if Tails or Knuckles or Biggs the cat or any of them were in there. What would their designs look like? So Sonic. That unfortunately is probably like the last positive thing I have to say tonight, because now we're going to talk about Disney Plus and The Mandalorian. I got Disney Plus partially because I really want to watch all the Marvel TV show stuff. WandaVision and Hawkeye and the What If stuffs and especially She-Hulk whenever that comes out. All that stuff. I think the first one is like Bucky and Falcon, and that's not even until the end of next year, so it's going to be a while. But I thought I'd go ahead and subscribe because at the very least I could at least do a debut review for The Mandalorian, which launched with the service, which released this week. And I did a debut review. It's on YouTube if you'd like to watch it. It's 15 minutes of me pretty much rambling about other things, but so Disney Plus as a service is pretty good. Had a shaky first few hours. They forgot to put the actual play button on the video, so there was no way to actually watch anything. It didn't actually work if you tried to use the app on the PS4. Okay. Disney released a statement. Demand exceeded our expectations. Did it? I mean, weren't you expecting, like, everyone? That's what I was expecting. What were you expecting? Like 5 or 6 people? I don't know. But they ironed it out pretty quick. I mean, I watched Mandalorian that evening after I got home from work. Jordan says, watching my debut review, if you have a death wish, drink every time I say bounty or hunter. Yeah. Siberian Tiger says, can't stand any more superhero movies. I'm just way burnt out on them. I actually have a video, all due respect, I have a video kind of making fun of not specifically that sentiment. I totally understand people are like, I'm just superheroed out at the moment. But people who complain that superhero movies are the only thing, like, in the theater, which is not true. I have a video that I'll try and get that done probably tonight and posted tomorrow. It's a debut. I'm sorry, no, it's a review haiku for Jojo Rabbit. So look for that tomorrow. So Disney Plus, I'm pretty happy with it. It's got put Song of the South on there, you cowards. But I am pleased that some of the older things, like some of the older Mickey shorts, pardon me, are in their original presentation. They just put a disclaimer on it that says this is an old cartoon and some cultural representations may be out of date or something along those lines. And kudos to Disney. That is exactly the correct thing to do. There are three basic things you can do with problematic old work, right? You could just bury it in a hole and never talk about it, which I don't agree with because I think it's important to, history's important. Not lionizing or lauding or deifying old problematic stuff, but understanding it and learning from it. Because if you ignore your history, you're doomed to repeat it, as the saying goes, something like that. You could release a version of it with the naughty bits or problematic bits edited out. That's kind of the same problem. Or you could present it as originally presented, just putting a disclaimer that warns that this is old and problematic, or even better, provide like liner notes or an intro or something that provides the proper context. That, I personally feel, is the proper thing to do. Warner did that something like that as well. Oh, good. So I watched Steamboat Willie, which had such a disclaimer, and I didn't notice anything culturally inappropriate, either because there isn't or my ignorance didn't recognize it. There's a little the steamboat docks at a little port called something like Podunk Town. Maybe that's a slur at Podunk. I don't know that it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway, I saw Steamboat Willie for the very first time. Mickey's a psychopath. Now, I always knew that Mickey was originally more of a mischievous character than he evolved into, but this Mickey's kind of cruel. So Steamboat Willie is a really weird cartoon. It is a basket of WTF-ery. It is messed up, man. It's doesn't have much of a narrative structure. It's just kind of almost dream logic. It just like they had a lot of ideas and weren't really worried about characterization or structure or anything like that. They just said, hey, what if Mickey just abused a bunch of animals that happened to be on a paddle boat or a steamboat or whatever kind of boat it is? So he's on a boat. Minnie gets on the boat, and there's a goat on the boat. And the goat on the boat eats Minnie's sheet music for the song that goes do 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 do, that song. And so they grab the goat's tail and start turning it like a crank, and the goat plays the do 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 song like a jukebox, and they start dancing. And Mickey's getting into the groove, and he accompanies the song on a washboard, and there's some other animals that are bopping back and forth. There's a goose and is like rocking out to this incredibly catchy tune. Someone should redub Steamboat Willie to Baby Shark or something like that. And then a cat walks by and Mickey grabs the cat by the tail and starts swinging it over his head. I'm like, oh my god, Mickey, what are you doing? And then he grabs the goose by the throat and he starts squeezing him like a squeeze box, accordion. He's yanking this thing's neck. And then there's this sow, this mama pig with a bunch of piglets nursing on her. And he picks up the sow and he shakes all the... he pulls all the little little piglets' tails while they're trying to nurse. So that they'll squeak in the exact pitches to harmonize with the doot 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 song. I wish I could remember the name of that song, damn it. And then he grabs the mama pig and he shakes all the little baby pigs off, but one baby pig is stubborn and is still attached. So you know what Mickey does? You know what Mickey does to the little baby pig nursing on the mama pig? He kicks it off with his foot. I don't know what other appendage you would kick with, but Mickey does it with his foot. And then he plays the mama pig's teats like another accordion or maybe a keyboard or something. Yeah. Mickey is very cruel. It's a very odd cartoon. I'm glad I watched it. Another thing I like about the Disney Plus service is a lot of the entries on it appear to have extras like audio commentaries and deleted scenes and things like that. That's cool. I really like that. Trailers, all that good stuff. Andrew had one too many pot brownies, says Jordan. A friend of mine had 4 pot brownies, and then she slept for 15 hours. That's not the official name of the song, but those are words that have been put to that melody, yes. Do your ears hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? And I don't know if it was originally ears, but I know other body parts have been part of that song. So anyway, which brings us to The Mandalorian, which has been getting some really positive reviews. I've read a lot of reviews now, and for the most part, they are extraordinarily positive. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. Again, I'm that guy. I don't like it. I don't dislike it, but I don't like it. I just think it's kind of meh. Am I talking spoilers? Yes. So, Mandalorian is the last thing I'll talk about on the show tonight. I will be spoiling the first 2 episodes. So, if you want to watch it, so real quickly, I don't dislike it, I just don't like it. I think it's kind of meh. I think it tries a little bit too hard to be It kind of suffers from the same problem that Episode 7 did, in my opinion, in that it adheres too close to its legacy, especially its own iconography. It's jamming every Star Warsy thing it can into every frame, and it's a little distracting. It also, at least in these early episodes, I feel the characterization is a little shaky. I think they don't quite have a handle on the tone yet. It's not bad. I don't want to give off that. Okay, so spoilers. Jordan says, Baby Yoda, if you don't like Baby Yoda, you have no soul. Baby Yoda is fine. I don't have a problem with Baby Yoda. Do I have anything? Yeah, I have nothing. Yeah, I have no problem with Baby Yoda. I have one problem with Baby Yoda. So Baby Yoda apparently. So the idea was the Mandalorian, who's a bounty hunter who hunts bounties, gets a bounty to hunt and hunts that bounty. And he tracks down this life form that he's hunting, the bounty, because he's a bounty hunter, you see. And it turns out to be a Baby Yoda, or whatever Yoda's species actually is. And he's like, what? But this life form's like 50 years old. How is it a baby? And I was thinking kind of the same thing, because that's super weird. I'm sure there's probably several life forms on our planet in real life that are infants for literally 50 years. So my problem with this is probably dumb. But Yoda died as an old man at about 900 or so. So if he was an infant for the first 50 years, that means that his species tend to if he was an average of whatever he is, would have passed away at like 18 or so. It doesn't scale like that, or at least it's really odd that it would scale like that. It's super weird that any life form would be an infant for that long, even if they do have extraordinarily long lives. I mean, even in folklore, like Lord of the Rings and stuff, you know, when you have elves that live to be thousands of years old, you know, I'm 10,000 years old. Oh, were you an infant for the first 1,000 years? No, I was an infant for like the first two. You know, it's you just no. That's just weird to me. Really curious about how exactly Stormtrooper functioned post Empire, and if we're gonna see defunct Stormtrooper help the Mandalorian. Yeah, I'm curious as to what the world is post Empire. We get some hints of it, but that's not what the series is focusing on so far. So again, I don't dislike the show, but it's just not doing it for me. I'm certainly not coming away with the "ooh, it's so good, I can't wait to see what happens next." I honestly would have stopped watching it if I didn't own Disney Plus. You know, if I wasn't subscribed to Disney Plus. I'm gonna watch the whole thing, but mainly because I'm paying for it, so I may as well. Jordan says also Jawas are dicks. Yeah, they are. Um, there are a lot of dumb things in The Mandalorian that take me out of the show that shouldn't. It's the same. It's just the way my brain works. My brain will occasionally just get stuck on dumb stuff that doesn't matter. For example, Boba Fett, not Boba Fett, the Mandalorian goes to not Tatooine to hunt down Baby Yoda, and he meets alien Nick Nolte. And alien Nick Nolte says, I can guide you to the place that you have a tracking beacon defined. I don't know why you didn't just, you know, fly your damn ship over there, but, you know, you do you. But first, you need to tame a blarg, a big two-legged chicken pig thing, to ride like a horse, because only the blarg can travel the way to there. I don't know why. It doesn't look like the terrain requires a blarg to cross. Never mind the fact that he has a spaceship and could just, you know, fly it over there. Which is especially undercut in the second episode when he just walks back on foot without a blarg inside of a day. So obviously you don't need the blarg because you can hoof it. I really did like IG Not 88. I really liked the way his movement was handled. I thought that was visually a lot of fun to watch. So when not Boba Fett gets back, Baby Yoda in tow, he finds that the Jawas, because of course there are Jawas, because they're from Star Wars, and we want to make sure this is Star Wars, you see. They're in the sand crawler, and they've stripped his ship for parts, which thankfully is not friggin' Slave One. It's not even that model of ship, so it's a unique design. But it's been stripped for parts. It's pretty much a ship skeleton now, and he chases after the ship, and they're kind of doing the thing where the cowboy chases after the train and then jumps off the horse and grabs the ladder on the side and climbs up the side. You know, you've seen westerns, haven't you? So Boba Fett chases after the sandcrawler and jumps and grabs the side, and they do that whole thing from Last Crusade, where Indiana Jones is hanging on the side of the tank and they try to smack him against a wall, and you know they do that thing, and Boba Fett pulls himself. I'm sorry, not Boba Fett pulls himself up onto a ledge so that he doesn't get smacked against the wall, and then instead of climbing up, standing up onto the ledge, he just pulled himself up onto. He drops off of the ledge and then climbs back up again. And at this point, I'm like, why don't you just use the grapple hook on your arm that we know you have because you've already used it earlier? And then he uses it, so that's good. So he and alien Nick Nolte, meet with the Jawas, and he says, "I'd like my stuff back, please." And they're like, "Give us Baby Yoda," and he says, "No." And they're like, "Give us your weapons." And he's like, "No, man, I'm a Mandalorian. Weapons are my religion. I ain't giving you Baby Yoda. I ain't giving you my guns." And they're like, "Well, go get us an egg." Okay. So what do you think the egg is going to be? I mean, I figured it would just be a big egg that they're going to eat. Because, I mean, unless it's like a jeweled thing, it's just an egg. I mean, what else are you going to do with it? So, not Boba Fett gets the egg, which is furry. I like that. That was a nice touch. It's a furry egg. Looks like a, matted hair, like Wookiee matted hair all over this egg. It's pretty great. He brings it back to the Jawas, and the way it's and they break open the egg and start eating it. And the way it's filmed, it feels like that was supposed to be a surprise. Like the audience was expected to go, "They're eating it? All that, and they're gonna eat the egg?" Yeah, what else would they want an egg for? I don't know. So anyway, the egg is guarded by a space rhinoceros that doesn't want not Boba Fett to eat his egg, and it beats the ever-loving snot sickles out of not Boba Fett, who might actually do better if he took his helmet off so he could see, because I imagine it's probably really hard to see out of that really thin visor thing he's wearing. But it, wouldn't look as cool. Although Pedro Pascal's a handsome dude, so I think he'd be okay. But I have a feeling that, like Dredd, he's going to keep his helmet on the entire time, which is fine. So he gets knocked around. So he's like knocked silly, and he takes out like a 6-inch knife. Well, hey, I'm a guy, so 8 inches. And he's like, I'm gonna stab you, and the space rhinoceros charges him, but then Baby Yoda uses the Force to stop the charging space rhinoceros, and not Boba Fett stabs it in the side of the head or the neck, and it dies instantly. And my first thought was, holy crap, boy, you must have hit something super damn vital for a 8-inch blade, 12 inches, to instantly kill a monster of that size. See, these are the dumb things that bother me when I watch this show. Then he takes the egg back, gives it to the Jawas, who eat the egg, which is surprising. Oh my god, they ate the egg. And he gets his parts back, which do not look like enough. I mean, it looks like they're dragging back a sled full of parts that look like maybe a quarter or a fifth of what he would. Maybe they made 5 trips and they just didn't feel like filming it. I don't know. But he says, "Oh man, I'd need an entire maintenance bay to fix my ship." And Space Nick Nolte says, or Alien Nick Nolte says, "Nah, we can fix it." And they do. They just fix it. It's not like there's, a dramatic race against the clock. They just fix it in a montage. No big deal. So he and little baby Yoda are now going to see Werner Herzog. I'm, like to. What does Werner Herzog want with baby Yoda? Does he want to order 66 him? I don't know. Is the show going to end up with not Boba Fett protecting baby Yoda? Probably. We'll see. So, yeah, I'm a little soft on the Mandalorian so far. Uh, One thing I do like, episode 1 was about 40 minutes long. Episode 2 was 30 minutes long. It's actually, I think, a little under half an hour. I really like the fact that Disney is not forcing the show to be any longer than it needs to be. Netflix! Marvel stuff on Netflix! It doesn't need to be so apparently not every episode is going to be exactly 40 minutes. It's going to be as long as it needs to be. I appreciate them not padding out the show to another 10 minutes just to hit an arbitrary runtime, is what I'm saying. Because arbitrary runtimes are stupid on a service that you pay for with a subscription instead of advertising. So, I wonder if we're going to see any of the extra bounty hunters in the background of the original trilogy. I would imagine so. I don't know if we'll see the originals, but we'll probably see their species. I think, you have the IG not 88. You have not Boba Fett. We've seen one of the species, Bosk. I think his species is there. It's probably not specifically Bosk, but I would not be surprised because they are jamming every Star Wars thing in here. So, the Jawas eating the egg was filmed like an exploitation gore film. Yeah, at least there wasn't like a little chicken fetus inside that they were. It was just yolk. I should get that cough looked at. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm a little down on the show. Again, I don't think it's bad. It's not bad. I'm just not gung-ho over it, unfortunately. So, yeah. Oh, well. Maybe episode 3 I'll like better. So, yeah, that's all I've got. That's an hour, so thanks much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. I'll be back next week. I have to actually post last week's show because I totally forgot to do that. Been busy. Today I put up a recap of the Extra Life charity event. That will, and the first hour or so of the charity event. Subsequent portions of the charity event will be posted over the next few weeks. Probably we'll have a review haiku tomorrow the next day. And some other stuff I'm working on. Debut reviews. I'm the kind of guy that throws shade at The Godfather, aren't you? The movie The Godfather? No, I don't think so. I like The Godfather just fine. I haven't seen the third one. Saw the first two. Thought they were good. Actually, believe it or not, I read the book first, the Mario Puzo book. I thought it's okay. It's very airport fiction-y kind of a read. It never struck me as classic. It was just a book on my mom's shelf that I read everything on the shelf, and Godfather just happened to be one of them. And I read it, and I was like, this is fine. And then I heard there was a movie, and then I heard that it's like, oh, it's the best movie. I'm like, really? And I watched it, and I went, that's pretty good. Mean you find it hard to like anything film? No, I like The Godfather. I like it quite a bit, 1 and 2. Haven't seen 3. Anyway, that's it for me. I hope you all enjoyed the show. You can watch my stuff on YouTube and follow me on Twitter at Andrew Eisen. See y'all next week, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.